So let me get this straight. The Sword in the Stone is based on a true story? You better lock in and buckle up, bucko, because you're in for another creepy and scary TikTok reaction video. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button because we're reacting and diving in scariest, weirdest, strangest, creepy, and outright disturbing TikTok theories and videos on YouTube. You want to be careful with these theories and videos because they might just change your reality and keep you up all night. Without further ado, let's dive into today's video.
This one gets weird. This is the San Galgano Abbey in Tuscany, and inside it is the actual sword in the stone. That is right, it is real. The University of Pavia has carbon dated the sword to the mid-1100s, which fits perfectly. Radar revealed the full sword, and it sits inside here, underneath that plastic case. The penetrator of this rock was none other than Golgano Guidotti, a Catholic saint. The Knights of the time then used this story to integrate the legend of Odin, Anthony Hopkins, into the culture under the church's nose. So Guidotti created this King Arthur story to tell that story. Here's where it starts to get weird. Arthur comes from Arctur, a very huge star that is aligned with the Arctic Circle. In Norse mythology, the ice giants created a network of hinges to open the door for their people to live. But at the time, the earth had barely any ice and was ruled by snakes. The homeland of the giants was Hyperborea. We learn from the Greeks is the dead center of the Arctic Circle. Mr. Guidotti was a knight, and he loved his worldly pleasures. But the Lord gave him a vision and said the only way he's going to get to heaven is if he renounces those. He replies, "Until my sword goes through the stone like butter, I'm not doing that." So the sword goes through the stone like butter, and he becomes a monk. But the knights typically expose the dark side of the church. That's why they were executed. The real sword is here, stuck in the obelisk from Egypt. The empire had...
So let me get this straight. The Sword in the Stone is based on a true story? We got to run that back because there's a lot to take apart on that. He said the world was ruled by snakes. He dropped in hollow earth in there. That was a lot to take in. Hold on. We got to go back and dissect this.
Space is not... This one gets weird. This is the San Galgano Abbey in Tuscany, and inside it is the actual sword in the stone. That is right, it is real. The University of Pavia has carbon dated the sword to the mid-1100s, which fits perfectly. Radar revealed the full sword, and it sits inside here, underneath that plastic case. The penetrator of this rock was none other than Golgano Guidotti, a Catholic saint. The Knights of the time then used this story to integrate the legend of Odin, Anthony Hopkins, into the culture under the church's nose. So Guidotti created this King Arthur story to tell that story. Here's where it starts to get weird. Arthur comes from Arctur, a very huge star that is aligned with the Arctic Circle. In Norse mythology, the ice giants created a network of hinges to open the door for their people to live. But at the time, the earth had barely any ice and was ruled by snakes. The homeland of the giants was Hyperborea. We learn from the Greeks is the dead center of the Arctic Circle. Mr. Guidotti was a knight, and he loved his worldly pleasures. But the Lord gave him a vision and said the only way he's going to get to heaven is if he renounces those. He replies, "Until my sword goes through the stone like butter, I'm not doing that." So the sword goes through the stone like butter, and he becomes a monk. But the knights typically expose the dark side of the church. That's why they were executed. The real sword is here, stuck in the obelisk from Egypt. The empire had... This one gets weird. This is the San Galgano Abbey in Tuscany.
All right. We got to write a lot down. San Galgano.
And inside it is the actual sword in the stone. That is right, it is real. The University of Pavia has carbon dated the sword to the mid-1100s, which fits perfectly. Radar revealed the full sword, and it sits inside here. All
right, guys, it looks like we're diving into the Sword in the Stone because that was based on a true story. Man, the longer I do these waters, guys, I kid you not, literally everything you have been told has some truth into it. If not all of it's true. It's quite shocking, to be honest, but we're going to dive into this one. Drop your comments and Drop your thoughts below in the comments. And if you know anything about this, I'd love to hear it. But I'm going to do my best to dive into the sword and the stone. We got a lot to go off of.
So you've heard of King Arthur's sword Excalibur. But what of the sword embedded in Tuscany's Monte Siepe chapel? The very real sword once belonged to Galgano Guidotti, who was born in 1148 and lived as a wealthy knight, acquiring wealth and slaughtering many in his travels, until deciding to repent in 1180.
In the outskirts.
So you've heard of King Arthur's sword Excalibur. But what of the sword embedded in Tuscany's Monte Siepe chapel? The very real sword once belonged to Galgano Guidotti, who was born in 1148 and lived as a wealthy knight, acquiring wealth and slaughtering many in his travels, until deciding to repent in 1180, laying down his sword. Guidotti would miraculously drive his sword into stone after seeing visions of the Archangel Michael. And it wasn't just a story either. A sword of such vintage still exists, as Tuscany's Monte Siepe chapel would literally be built around it, with Guidotti going on to become a saint 1 year after his death. The sword has been tested and analyzed with modern technology, matching the period Guidotti lived in, and the full sword is still firmly in the ground, surrounded by stone. How exactly? We're not quite sure. But what do you think? Is it a real miracle or something else? Let us know in the comments. So you've heard of King Arthur's sword Excalibur, but
unbelievable.
In the outskirts of Siena, Italy, there is a 900-year-old sword. No king never touched this sword's grip. This blade actually belonged to Saint Galgano Guidotti. Born in 1148 to an illiterate feudal lord, Guidotti would become a wealthy knight, though he was skilled in the art of war. He was also profoundly arrogant, violent, and only concerned with worldly pleasures. Then, something changed in Guidotti. The affluent nobleman is said to have had visions of the Archangel Michael, the warrior saint. Michael suggested that Guidotti should give up his life of wealth and dedicate his existence to God instead. He then took his sword and plunged it into a stone, where it has remained ever since. In the outskirts of Siena, Italy.
Guys, the sword and the stone is real. For entertainment purposes only, the sword and the stone. Wow. Unbelievable. Truth is stranger than fiction.
In the outskirts of
¿Será esta la espada?
So this right here is Galgano's sword, and yes, it very much still exists. It's there for everybody to see. Now, it's said that in a vision from God or Archangel Michael, he was told to renounce all material possessions, and because of this, he decided to get rid of his sword and plunged it into the earth. Either way, somehow this booger got into a very large rock, and it's a whole piece. The whole thing is there. It's been analyzed, which is really cool. But it said that it fused with the earth so much so that nobody could remove it. Now, Galgano died in 1181, and very, very soon after, just a couple of years later, a round chapel was built over his claimed tomb to commemorate him. Now, very quickly, pilgrimages came in very large masses. Many people came to see the site of the sword and the stone, and there were claimed miracles of this place. Now, in that year, monks took over the hill of Montecipia at the request of Hugh, Bishop of Volterra. Now, most of Galgano's monks left and scattered over Tuscany, basically becoming Augustinian hermits. By 1220, San Galgano Abbey, a very large monastery, had been built over the site of his hermitage. Now, he was then claimed and recognized by the church as a saint. His cult was lively in Siena and Volterra, where numerous representations still survive to this day. The ruins of his hermitage can be still be seen, and while his actual cloak is kept in the church of, and I'm sorry about this, Stantuccio at Siena. Now, the sword is still very much there. It is in a rotunda at the hill of Montecipia, near the ruins of the Abbey of San Galgano. The handle of the sword still protrudes from this stone, and an analysis of the metal done in 2001 confirmed that the composition matches the same time as the feudal era, so it is compatible with the legend. It also confirmed that is a whole ass sword in the ground. There is the piece right here, and there's a whole ass sword down there, and so it's a really cool artifact. It's still there to be seen, and I just absolutely love this legend. I hope you enjoyed, and have a great day. So this right here is
It's a miracle. It's, for a sword to go in the stone. He said, I'm not giving up nothing until this sword goes into this stone like butter. Oh, snaps, it did it, and he's like, all right, I'm not messing around, because I'm telling you, there's more treasure somewhere else, guaranteed. I truly believe it, man. How else could that sword go in the stone like that? You can't superheat it like a Forged in Fire, even though I love that series, Forged in Fire, but you cannot superheat that and put it in the ground like that. You know what I'm saying? They probably didn't even have the gloves to carry that and quick put it in the stone. It's a miracle. It's another testimony. Like in the book of John, some people need to see the actual hole in his hand to believe. Some people don't need all that. But the people that don't, it doesn't take all that for them to believe, their blessings will be multiplied because it didn't take all that for them to believe. I'm telling you guys, it's too much lining up. The sword and the stone. Have y'all heard about this?
You might not know about Excalibur. If you're familiar with the legend of King Arthur, you may have noticed something strange. He seems to acquire Excalibur twice, once by pulling it from the stone, and once from the Lady of the Lake. Well, there's actually a reason for this. See, originally, These were two different swords. Yeah, the sword in the stone was not Excalibur, though in later versions they were merged together. The sword in the stone was Arthur's first sword up until it got broken, and then that's when Arthur went and got Excalibur from the Lady of the Lake. Though there are also tellings where the first sword actually gets stolen and later used by Mordred to kill King Arthur. There's a sad full circle. His rule began because of this sword, and it ended because of this sword. You probably want to know the official name for this sword, and hey, so do I, but when I looked into it, it looks like everyone's still arguing about which one's legitimate, so couldn't really get a definitive answer on that. Oh well, sword in the stone, I guess.
All know of the legend of King Arthur and the sword in the stone known as Excalibur, but it turns out that there had been a real-life sword in the stone in Ghana since at least 1695. Just to be clear, the story of King Arthur and Excalibur has been around for at least 1,000 years, so this one in Ghana is purely coincidental. Anyway, in 1695, a high priest and leader of the Ashanti kingdom named Okomfo Anokie plunged a sword into the ground, declaring that no one would be able to pull it out, and that as long as it remained there, the Ashanti kingdom would survive. Over the centuries, many have actually tried but failed to pull the Anokie sword out. One of those was the boxer Muhammad Ali during his visit to Ghana in 1964. Also, here is England's Queen Elizabeth II visiting the sword during a trip to Ghana in 1961. There is no word on whether she tried to pull out the sword. But you can still visit and see the Anokie sword today, although I'm not sure if people are still being allowed to try to pull it out. So we all know of the legend of King Arthur and the sword in the stone known as Excalibur.
Damn, so it didn't happen once, it happened twice? We gotta look into this. Anokie sword site. That's crazy. Muhammad Ali tried to get it? Guys, there's literally no information on the Anokie sword, the sword in Ghana. But if you guys have some more information, I'll let it hear it.
Elysian. You might have heard stories from the past about these knights, but I bet you've never seen weapons like this. Did you know that knights was using weapons that could generate and shoot out electricity? Oh my days. I want you to take a good look at the handle of this sword. Coils generate vortexes. Vortexes create an electromagnetic field. Magnetic field conducts currents in and out lines of force in a torus circuit. It is said, when parrying with a flame-barred sword, unpleasant vibrations can transfer into the attacker's blade. These vibrations cause the blade to slow contact with each other because additional friction is encountered with each wave. X-rays of a Bronze Age sword grip's intricate designs indicate some sort of tech. The question is, why? This is a modern-day example of that same weapon in use. They was able to convert natural atmospheric energy into electricity, and underneath their armor they will be wearing special protective grounding suits to prevent them from electrocuting themselves. Trust me, brother, the truth is stranger than fiction.
Let's jump into these videos.
Hayusa then.
It was really shooting with these swords, y'all. Look at this. They're parrying with these swords, and when it strikes another sword, they dropping them boys. Like going nuts. Look, they had aim with these swords.
Hayusa.
Attacking them. Let's go. They was not for no games.
This is a 3,000-year-old sword they found in Germany. And in my opinion, if you see this little bottom piece, it could be used as something else, because there's no damage on the blade. There's no damage here. So either it was a ceremonial sword, or It was used for something else. And if you look at it, it is a beautiful, beautiful piece of metal. Like, whoever made this did an amazing job. It's strong as hell when there's no erosion. For 3,000 years it's been in the ground, in this wet fucking ground, and there's nothing wrong with it, like, at all. It's wild. But this next part is might throw a little bit of the people watching this video off, but just wait. Watch the next image. This is what I think that sword was used for. Like, this is real. Like, they figured out a way back in the day to harness the atmospheric energy and turn it into electricity for sword fighting like this. That's where, like, a lot of the history of, like, wizards come from and stuff like that, is sword fighters throwing electricity with their sword. They wore this chainmail to kind of have, like, a protective energetic layer over their body, like creating a field pretty much. And then they figured out a way to blast it all at once out of the tip of the sword. So, like, it would take a little bit to charge, and then they figured out a way to blast it. And that's just wild. Wait, that's where this part comes in. This little knob on the bottom. It has a shield for your hand, and then something either down the sleeve or a wire or something that's connected to this. It could also be a connection of the contraption that harnesses the electrical power in the atmosphere. So, something plugs into this that has the capability of harnessing and storing the etheric energy all around us. And they were able to figure out a way to blast it through the sword at their opponent. Because most of the time their opponent's going to be wearing metal. So, like, even if it doesn't shock them, they're still going to feel the energy blast from the electricity hitting them. And if they get lucky enough to hit skin because they're on the ground and most of their shoes are mostly metal, like, they'll be grounded, that electricity is going to go through them and hurt a lot.
What were they truly? Just a symbol? Simple bundle of rods? Or much like the Vajra, another electrified weapon of our very hidden electrified past? History tells us they're nothing more than just a bundle of rods with an axe sticking in it to symbolize power. Or is that merely the symbol it's hijacked as today? We've already seen plenty of electrified swords and Faraday cage knight armor on this channel. Perhaps there was something much more powerful at work here, and now it's just a symbol of the inheritors, sitting on a throne of stolen history.
My apologies about the echo. It goes away after a while. Hold on. What is that? With the cage in it? What is this? That is interesting.
The Fossees. What were they?
Bro, look at this. This looks like sweet business from Destiny.
Truly?
Tell me that don't look like sweet
just
business.
A symbol? Simple bundle of rods? Are they truly?
Look me in my face.
Just a symbol?
Look at that. Tell me that don't look like sweet business from Destiny. How did they know this? Whoops, I hope I didn't have an echo this whole time. But how did they know this?
What were they truly? Just a symbol? Simple bundle of rods? Or much like the Vajra, another electrified weapon of our very hidden electrified past? History tells us they're nothing more than just a bundle of rods with an axe sticking in it to symbolize power. Or is that merely the symbol it's hijacked as today? We've already seen plenty of electrified swords and Faraday cage knight armor on this channel. Perhaps there was something much more powerful at work here, and now it's just a symbol of the inheritors, sitting on a throne of stolen history, with its trophy of its conquered. Question everything, friends. Until next time.
This was definitely, they're not definitely telling us something about this. Guys, did you see that weapon with that axe? Why was that axe surrounded in coils? What were they trying to charge up? Y'all tell me what they trying to charge up, man. Looks like they was charging up some type of slicing attack. I don't know. But we on these dark waters and we gonna figure out.
Meet the African Thor, Shango. This powerful god rules over thunder and lightning and even has 3 wives, making him more intriguing than the famous Thor. Let's jump into some of Shango's most exciting stories that show off his fiery temper and incredible strength. Legend says that after some intense events, Shango climbed up to the heavens. The gods, amazed by his bravery and strength, gave him control over thunder and lightning. With these powers, Shango's anger and energy could shake the skies. Shango's life was as wild and unpredictable as the storms he controlled. He had 3 wives, Oshun, Oya, and Oba, all trying to win his heart. Oba, feeling jealous, was tricked into adding a piece of her ear to his food, thinking it would make him love her more. When Shango found out, he exploded with anger. The skies roared with thunder, and the ground shook as he sent Oba away in a fury. And let's not forget about his epic fights with his brother, Ogun, the god of iron and war. Their battles were so huge and fierce they almost destroyed the world. These fights were like massive storms, showing just how tough and powerful Shango is. Meet the African Thor, Shango. This powerful god.
Who is Shango? I never heard of Shango before. This is my first time hearing of him.
Now, I know y'all heard of Thor, the Norse god of thunder. But have you heard of Shango, the African god of thunder and fire? Double whammy. Funnily enough, his weapon of choice is a one-handed, double-sided axe, and he's featured in both DC and Marvel comics, as well as some African indie comics as well. Highly recommend you Google them. They're usually pretty free and easy to buy, if not free. But anyways, he's in religions all across West Africa. He originated from the Yoruban people, and because of, a little event that happened 400 years ago, his tales and his religion has spread from not only Africa, but also Cuba, Haiti, Trinidad, and even Brazil. Shout out to him. Oh, and make sure you follow the boy. Now, I know
If I asked you who the god of thunder was, most of you would say this guy, Thor, from the Marvel Universe and from Norse mythology. Most people will never mention Shango, one of the Orishas of the Yoruba tribe and African spirituality. He is regarded as one of the most powerful gods around the world. Shango, the god of thunder and lightning and fire, was once a powerful king who brought prosperity to the land. He wanted to seek stronger power to destroy his enemies, and he was blessed with these powers, and he eventually ascended to the level of Orisha, or God, in African spirituality. He controlled both thunder and lightning and was able to breathe fire out of his mouth. Crazy thing about it is the weapon that he wields is the double-headed axe like Thor does in the new Marvel movies, not the hammer. Growing up, I idolized several superheroes that looked nothing like me. And then when Black Panther rose, I had something to be excited about. But then he wasn't created by a black man. This is not a knock on Thor or any other gods or superheroes of other cultures or ethnic identities. This is just to show black people that we do have our own superheroes that are real with real stories. If I asked you who the
That's my first time hearing about Shango. I never knew he existed. And yes, I would like to see a movie about it, man. This the Thor, with the welcome to the jungle, and he's throwing the hair, man. I'm tired of that, man. That's played out, man. Get us something new, man. Get us something tight, I haven't even seen the new, Marvel movies, man. I'm just not interested anymore, Imagine the people that, you know, were behind the Invincibles got a hold of this movie, Shango. You know how tight that would be? Like on some Black Adam, you know? Go nuts on some Spawn type stuff, you know? Let's go, man. We back on these waters, man. What y'all doing, man? Wake up, man. It's your boy JetskiChucK. Let's get on these videos, y'all.
It's the stuff that we're flying now. So I will tell you this. The first time I fought on the range against the F-22 Raptor, and I fought against everything in the world. So out at Nellis with the aggressors, everybody comes there to train, to get prepared for combat. There's no better plane in the world than the F-22. When that thing passed me and some of the stuff that I saw it could do, I go, there's no better plane in the world. So as far as air superiority, F-22 is at the top of the food chain. It's the stuff.
Yo, they trying to go back to the future. Look at this, y'all. Can anyone confirm this is real? Bro, it looks like they got a hold of the mercury rectifiers and got it right. This is what I would be on. If they put me on top of some technological development team, I'm like, all right, y'all, slap these mercury rectifiers together and get this boy gyrate. You know, we got somewhere to be, man. We got to catch up. We've been behind for years. We got to catch up. Get these boys venerate. Slap the dilithium crystals inside the main fluctuator and get these boys generate. The flux capacitor is running on maximum. Come on, man, we gotta catch up.
You gotta put some man in your kids.
I know, he's afraid of his own shadow. Oh, there it is, there it is. Holy. I got it all, yeah. Here it comes. Here it comes again.
Alexa, put your fingers in your ear.
Alexa, putting fingers in ears.
Uh-oh. Sonic boom. You can hear sonic boom.
Activating flux capacitors. Man, if I could just get a couple mercury rectifiers, man, and a cord that will go into the ionosphere, man, I'm telling y'all now, we would be in a whole different age. Give me 4 months.
If you smack two heavy metal balls together, The energy of their collision will be focused at such a small point, enough heat can be produced to literally burn a hole through paper. Try this at home, it smells like smoke. That didn't happen because I'm so strong, even though I am.
Yeah, I just took a bird, took a ice. Whoa, I just left the earth, then that's high. Hold on.
If you smack two heavy metal balls together, the energy of their collision will be focused at such a small point, enough heat can be produced to literally burn a hole through paper. Try this at home, it smells like smoke. That didn't happen because I'm so strong, even though I am.
Yeah, I just took a bird, took a ice. Whoa, I just left the earth, then that's high. Hold on.
This is it. This is the answer for everything. Energy-wise. For entertainment purposes only, don't come for me. I see that? What is that? A planet Nibiru? What is that? Have y'all heard of... I think I heard about that on Dragon Ball Z, Planet Nibiru. Have y'all heard about this before? What is going on? What is that, y'all? That is so weird. What is that? This creepy and scary TikTok for real. Is this real? There's no way a Aurealis Borealis, whatever it's called, popped up in the middle of that. If that's true, we definitely need this in our new flux reactor that's about to pop off.
What is going on? Please double check your seatbelt. Make sure everybody has their seatbelt securely fastened. Put this thing on the ground. What is going on? Please double check.
It's your boy JetskiChucK. We on these waters daily. I try to be anyway. I'm gonna try to get a couple lives in for y'all too, man, so we can check in with y'all. We can see how everyone's doing, man, and just hang out, man. Talk with some like-minded people.
This looks innocent, right? It's a seashell. This person thought let her soak some seashells to get the salt water off, and it started to make a strange noise. Listen to the video.
Call of Duty Black.
This looks innocent, right? It's a seashell. This person thought let her soak some seashells to get the salt water off, and it started to make a strange noise. Listen to the video. This looks innocent, right?
That's no way. That's no way that sound was coming from the seashell. That had to be a bird nearby. Drop your thoughts below.
You cannot have a shadow smaller than the object casting it. Meaning, the moon can't be 2,100 miles wide if it only casts a 300.
This
You cannot have a shadow smaller than the object casting it. Meaning, the moon can't be 2,100 miles wide if it only casts a 300-mile shadow. Prove me wrong without using a computer. You cannot have a shadow smaller than the object casting it. Meaning, the moon can't be 2,100 miles wide if it only casts a 300-mile shadow. Prove me wrong without using a computer.
Was it just me, or does the shadow look bigger when it's got closer? You know, but it does look more solid when it's far away. After 142 years, can't believe it's under construction still. Man, it's because it's melted. And what did they butcher it and put on the top of that? They just need to come on out and tell the truth about this building, honestly. The Selim era and Matra tree, commonly known as Samumara. I know I'm butchering. But look how massive this tree is, guys. But that's all I got for today's video. If you made it this far, be sure you hit a like and subscribe. And the code word is sword. Be sure you drop sword in the comment so I know you're real and you made it all the way through this video. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, I thank you guys for everything. And I'm going to see you guys same place, same time tomorrow. Peace out.